Warner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This budget resolution and reconciliation bill that will spring from it has been billed as legislation that will secure the border, promote energy independence, and bolster military readiness. These are the three principles. I got to tell you, can't imagine any on this side of the aisle that wouldn't be proud to support. I just hope we'll get a chance to participate in that process. For example, I want to secure the border. That's why I supported the bipartisan Sinema-Langford agreement to invest $20 billion to strengthen the security of the U.S.-Mexico border. It's why I pushed the last administration to prioritize additional resources to stop the flow of illicit drugs like fentanyl from coming through ports of entry. And as Vice Chair of the Senate Intel Committee, I know there are a number of threat actors that are seeking to exploit weakness in our security measures. I believe we should do more to protect the homeland and bolster our military readiness. We should invest more ships and submarines, of course, built in Hampton Roads, of course, and we should do more to support service members and their families, both during their time in service and afterwards. And of course, a strong national defense is not only about who has the most tanks and guns, but who is making strategic investments and harnessing emerging technologies like AI. And if this is about energy independence, we should use every tool at our disposal to lower the cost for working families, while also working to make sure the new energy sources are affordable, sustainable, and efficient. For example, last year I started the Senate Advanced Nuclear Caucus with Senator Risch. We are focused on finding practical solutions to scale up both the volume and use of safe, clean nuclear energy. I think particularly in SMRs. Although smart investments made under the last administration, we're seeing more of my home state of Virginia taking a leading role in offshore wind production and producing clean energy vehicles built right in the heart of Southwest Virginia in Dublin. So if my Republican colleagues want to work in a bipartisan way to shore up our border, our defense, our energy policy, sign me up. But what I won't do and what I can't support is a one-sided partisan effort that slashes the programs that helps working families. Frankly, oftentimes to pay for tax cuts for those of us at the top. I object to the idea that we should kick seniors and children off Medicaid for this. Around 80 million Americans are covered by Medicaid and CHIP. Nearly half of them are kids. I can't support a budget that takes a sledgehammer to health care for sick kids. And it's downright irresponsible to slash our nation's most important anti-hunger program at a time when households are seeing increased prices for groceries. Under the Trump administration, the cost of a dozen eggs is now over $7. I heard those same eggs talked about a lot of times last year under the Biden prices. Now that we're up to $7 for a dozen eggs under the Trump administration, I would point out those same eggs were about $4 in October. Beef is more expensive, orange juice is more expensive, coffee is more expensive, and that's before we bring on the tariff costs. And as a matter of fact, in the face of rising costs, we're talking about cutting benefits of about $6.20 per person per day. This is a short-sighted move that will lead to increased food insecurity, poverty, lower health education outcomes for working people. I also cannot believe during these challenging times my colleagues would consider cutting vital education programs as we all think about schooling up for AI purposes. I'm hearing that the majority wants to slash student loan programs, raising costs for our young people. To my Republican friends who, like me, hear often from our constituents about the tremendous need for more American workers. Matter of fact, by going after student aid, you're cannibalizing the workforce of the future. If you're wondering, if you're a young person today watching this hearing, and I'm not sure what would drive you to be doing that, and you're struggling to pay back a student loan, get on the phone. Call a Republican senator now. If you're a parent who has plotted out that last student loan program, let me flash Senator Graham's number on the screen right now. Call now before noon and get an extra Genzai knives to go along with that decreased student loan. If you're a teacher, firefighter, a cop who's hoping that the promise of the public service loan forgiveness will come to you all, well, we're here to support it. Some of our colleagues on the other side are not. You know, there are responsible ways for paying for a package like this. Those of us who were involved in the Simpson-Bowles Dodd-Frank effort, or the Simpson-Bowles effort around debt and deficit, we laid out very bold cuts that spread the pain. I hope that we can go back and look at some of those ideas as well, and at the meantime, make sure that we do not end up going into long-term investments that were created by the bipartisan infrastructure bill. We need to have a lot more conversation about supporting our defense industrial base, securing the border. But frankly, Mr. Chairman, I think we can do better than what's been presented. Thank you, and I yield back.
Well, the chair knows that Senator Warner